Hello everyone, this is StrawberryShorty here with a review and recap of Resident Evil, well, Netflix's Resident Evil, episodes 7 and 8. At least I'm pretty sure it is episode 7 and 8. We are back to doing the extremely awkward going through the episode because these ones are jumping around a lot more. And we added a new drawing, which I can't tell you what that is yet, but if you know, you know. So, episode 7, Parasite, starts off in 2005 in the Arklay Mountains in a secret research laboratory where we meet the Wesker clones, which is our Albert Wesker that we've known throughout the series, that is to say, Billy and Jade's dad, but also two others, Bert and Albie. And, first of all, not very original naming theme they got going on there, but my first thought when we get into this scene is just how badly I want a Wesker family spinoff, because Bert is rocking to music and blew up like a Hot Pocket in the microwave. And, yeah. But then they introduce the real Wesker, who, despite my earlier hopes, still looks exactly like them. And, like, you cannot put a black man in a trench coat and sunglasses and expect people not to think of Blade. Like, people cannot stop making the jokes. And, yeah. And Wesker's mean. Like, nobody likes him. He's just a terrible person. He's really mean to his clones. But Bert is so wholesome and wonderful. And, like, if there's one good thing that came out of this series, it is him. And I feel like that's something most people probably will agree on. But anyway, so Umbrella raids the secret lab. And it's like, oh, Wesker, you've been, misusing Umbrella facilities, and the clones are like hiding, trying to avoid getting shot. Poor Albie gets murdered, and then the remaining two clones get captured by Evelyn, while the others, Wesker escapes. And then we flash forward back to the present, back to the cell. And I'll say, for having been stuck in a variety of imprisonment for like 17 years, Bert's got a pretty sweet cell. Like, I thought I saw like a PS5 in there, or I don't know, an Xbox 360, I don't know, some sort of white gaming console. Like, even a man in a freaking prison cell has got one of those. I don't have either one. Especially now that they've announced that Resident Evil 4 is coming out for PS4, the remake, so yeah. Anyway, the two men talk. Our Albert apparently thought that his brother was dead, and Bert just does not care. Bert is super chill, but he seems to think of Evelyn as his mother, which is like a weird perversion of Resident Evil 7. Then we are back in the future where Jade finds the tracking device that I totally theorized was in that freaking head. It's a super gross scene, but she is broken up about it. And this whole scene feels a little weird because they don't address what happened with the helicopter, so it's like, was that Umbrella? Like, why are you able to be here? Why have you not been captured? And she's really broken up when she notices that tracker, even though we have not seen the aftermath of anything Umbrella-related, like them attacking and killing people. And, like, maybe you should be a little more upset about the pregnant friend that just died because of your carelessness. Like, this is the thing that gets you? It just seems, a bit silly. And then, like, Arjun shows up, and there's a dude with a gun, so I wonder if she was, like, imprisoned in the lab or something because of everything that happened when Arjun comes. And she wants Arjun to call her selfish, and it's like, he did call you selfish earlier, and you didn't respond well to it. But apparently Umbrella is trying to be diplomatic, even though they could have just grabbed Jade then and there. I don't know what's up. Because it's kind of something that comes up, is that they don't like the university and they want Jade, so they could have just taken action, but they seem to want diplomacy. So they meet with the leader, whose name is Sakim, I believe, and he just walks up with no guns to meet with Evelyn, and I totally want him to be, like a badass. Evelyn looks like exactly the same when we see her, and unsurprisingly, she wants Jade to be handed over to her. So, yeah, I'm kind of worried about Sakim at this point, because it's like, this is the kind of situation where people get killed. So we flash back to the past, where Wesker is like tied up, sort of, in a really weird seatbelt looking restraint. Evelyn comes in and is like being creepy Evelyn, somehow less creepy than child Evelyn. And, oh yeah, because I forgot to mention, the cell scene previously ended with Al getting dragged out of the cell. And Bert just being like, I got you, bro. And speaking of Bert has just slaughtered 3 guards. Like, he's so wholesome, but he can kill. So he's like slaughtered these guys. I feel a little bad for those guards, but they've probably killed a lot of people and imprisoned a lot of people. But seriously, that's a kind of chilling scene. But Evelyn, I don't know what the frick is going on with Evelyn, honestly. Like, well, we'll get to her in a minute. So it cuts back to the girls at school, and they're like, they don't want to see Simon. It's like, have you responded to any of Simon's texts? And it's like, no. But it's like, you're at school. He's your classmate. You, like, can't he just come up to you? Anyway, we go back to Evelyn with Al, and Evelyn is like really caught up in this joy thing. Like, she's really pushing it. Like it seems like she just cares about the money, but then she's also like, we could change the world. Joy could do stuff about anxiety and depression and suicide. And it seems like this that make me feel like Evelyn needed some backstory related to this. Like, maybe reveal she lost her mother to suicide, or she struggled with depression, or something. But they don't have anything like that. So it's like, is she supposed to actually have an emotional concern here? Or, like, what? You know? And then they want Wesker to do something with Bert's notes. I don't know, it's really weird. Anyway, back to the future. Bee has snuck out of somewhere to go talk to her mom, which is a little reckless of her. And Mom basically does exactly what her dad did and is like, look, there's a duffel under your bed filled with stuff you're going to need to survive. I need you to get it and, like, try and get your dad to go with you. Get off the ship. If your dad won't come with you, go alone. And there's so many problems with this. First of all, that is a 10-year-old girl with no fighting or survival skills that we know of, especially based on what we saw with the rest of the people on the ship. And you're basically telling her to go off on her, because if she goes off on her own, she's dead. She goes off with Arjun, she's also probably dead. Like, because the whole thing is that naturally Jade does not trust Umbrella, so she basically wants her daughter off the ship, and she'd been trying to convince Arjun of that, but it wasn't really working. And I can't blame Arjun, because why would you want to leave your safe space? Especially considering, again, trying to survive out there would be near impossible, especially with a 10-year-old. But, you know, I've played The Walking Dead, so I've seen, like, how badly things can go when you're out there by yourself, or when you are staying in a place that gets raided. So there's no real right or wrong person here, but I still think her advice to be just has so much potential for disaster. But anyway, so we cut to the school again in the past, where Bert has somehow managed to escape the Umbrella facility and goes to pick up Billy and Jade at school. And he's trying so hard to be just your average guy, and it's kind of comical. Again, I really want a Wesker sitcom. But this is, again, what is wrong with Umbrella's security? How did this man, like, it's already a little bit of a stretch that he was able to kill 3 guards in his cell with no one noticing. How does he escape his cell and just leave the building and no one, no camera, no guard picks up on this? Especially since the actual Wesker, who looks just like him, is being detained. Like, this just seems a little strange. And Evelyn is, like, telling, like, she makes this comment to the imprisoned Wesker about how, like, Wesker cloned himself to achieve immortality. I don't really think cloning is immortality. Like, I could see the argument for that, but just doesn't quite seem right. And so Bert, you know, keeping good on his promise to help his brother out, does what any good semi-parent uncle thing would do. He takes the girls to Olive Garden. And, yeah, the girls kind of start to pick up something's weird, but he takes them to Olive Garden. And I'm just sitting there like, does he actually have money? Because, like, I don't feel like he has any money. And then we get a glimpse of Simon, and I think her name is Diana, Evelyn's wife and Simon's mom. And this is a nice scene. Like, Diana seems like a really nice person, and she deserves better because Evelyn finally comes home and we learn she is drugging her wife with joy. And Simon finds some of the pills. He also uses an app on his mother to find out what kind of breakfast she is. I don't know if that's a real app. What kind of breakfast do you think you are? Like, I kind of want to download the app and see if it really exists. See for myself what I would be. But, I don't know. Anyway. I think we go back to the Olive Garden after this. Yeah, we're back at the Olive Garden. And Bert has discovered Olive Garden has unlimited breadsticks and he is there for it. But he gets rather unhappy when they won't give him multiple baskets of his unlimited breadsticks so that the girls can have some because that is a limit. Which I'm sure we've all thought that at some point. I don't really eat at Olive Garden, but I do love breadsticks. And so the girls pretty much call Bert out on the fact that something's up, and he's just like, oh yeah, I'm not your dad, I'm a clone of Wesker, and he was a really bad guy. And he just tells them everything, and they're just sitting there like, what the frick? And then they stupidly leave and tell him to stay away from them, even though it's like, you guys need all the information you can get, and this guy's just offering it. Yeah. And I forgot to mention that Evelyn had Simon figure out where Jade was, so they know that they're at the Olive Garden, and they go after them. But, oh yeah, I'm rewatching this now to kind of trigger my memory, and there's a pretty great line, I thought it was later, where where Bert's telling the girls about Wesker, and it's just like, he died in a volcano, but it's okay though, he wasn't very nice. I swear, Bert is the best character. So they try to get away from Bert and leave the Olive Garden. Umbrella shows up, and Bert Wesker protects the girls and kicks the butt, but he can't beat Roth. His scene with Roth is a little funny. Like, Bert has a childish side to him, and the girls all kind of get forcibly taken to Umbrella, and I hate moments like this. I feel for them, you know, and I want to see them escape Umbrella, because Umbrella sucks. But anyway, we are back in the future again, where Sadiq shows up, and nothing's really said, but when the guys show up with the guns, Jade pretty much figures out what's going on. And B goes to get the bag her mother left her, which, just like the bag all those years ago, has a gun. It's like, yeah, give your 10-year-old daughter, who's probably never fired a gun in her life, a gun. This is so sensible. Anyway, girls arrive at Umbrella, and I'm just thinking, like, they meet with Evelyn, and I'm just like, shut up, Billy, because Billy's like, we know everything, we know Umbrella is unethical, we know you got clones, and it's just like, stop telling them you know stuff. These are the kind of people that kill you when you know stuff. Like, oh my gosh. And so, Evelyn takes them to see Wesker, who needs his injection and is collapsing, and they're really nasty to the girls. Like, they grab them and they're screaming and they forcibly take blood from them, which clearly really hurts. And then they basically tell the girls, like, yeah, you were just created so he could live. Which I don't think is the worst thing, because, like, if you could, you know, live by, you know, having children, I don't think that's the terrible thing. Like I remember that, like, story. But I don't know that it was a real story. It might have been a fictional story. I think it was like My Sister's Keeper, where the one kid was sick, so they had a second kid, and they were basically forcing her to give her organs to her sister. Like, that's messed up. You definitely shouldn't do that. But I don't think necessarily what he did with Billy and Jade was terrible. And, like, he treated them, like, well. They weren't, like, prisoners or anything. But Billy does not take it well, and she cusses out her dad, and she acts like a real jerk, and wants him to die, and, ugh, it's a very unpleasant scene. So Jade gets led back to the Umbrella people in the future, and I'm just waiting for the people that brought her to get shot, but that doesn't happen. And she meets with Evelyn, who starts doing this creepy dance number, and it's basically revealed that Billy has been controlling her with drugs and electrodes. And, like, I've not liked Jade because of her unpleasant personality and her string of very bad choices, but Billy quickly starts to replace her as my least favorite character, because Billy, especially in the future, is such a nasty piece of work. Like, what do you even want? And her claim that she was dying is kind of a lie. She was dying, but injecting herself with her sister's blood saved her. I kind of thought that it would be revealed that she wanted her sister just so she could keep taking her blood, but it kind of seems like one injection was enough. I don't know. But it's pretty much revealed that despite, again, this weird pacifist thing, Billy plans to completely take and destroy everything from the university because she wants to erase the past, and because she doesn't like the past. And I feel the logic here is pretty stupid, but it's just like, well, if you wanted, like, why did you bother with the diplomacy? You could have just destroyed everything. And if you hate your memories that much, you could just probably erase your memories. Like, yeah, like, I feel like you have that ability. And when they're planning to, like, raid the boat and, like, take Jade and make her prisoner, Jade pulls out the pheromone thingy, the one that attracts the zombies. I keep wanting to call the zombies walkers, but she pulls that out and she smashes it. And I'm not a scientist, but, like, wouldn't that need to release in the air to do anything? And even then, wouldn't it be, like, semi-minor? Because there's no zombies in sight. There might be a few near the shore, but she smashes it, and within, like, 10 seconds, thousands of zombies are pouring out. And this happens indoors, so this would not even really get actively into the air, but the zombies are coming, just loads and loads and loads of them. It's insane. But they are all coming, and it is just pure chaos. Oh, and there's some jerky bald guy. Like, because Arjun, when he finds out that they're planning to, like, hand Jade over, is, like, upset. But he doesn't, like, actively attack anyone. But they hold him prisoner, and they kind of, this bald guy is super mean to him. It's not a nice scene. But yeah, so Sadiq and his escort manage to get back to the ship. The Umbrella people are getting slaughtered by these zombies, despite their... Why does no one have neck protection? Like, why would you go out into the zombie world without all your body parts being completely covered? But yeah, so these people are getting annihilated. They have nothing. And, yeah. Arjun realizes that they're planning to flee and is worried about Jade. We kind of have some intercuts to the girls in the past sitting there. We also see the boat, the university boat, is dragging what appears to be an alligator behind it. Like, at first I thought it was following the ship, but apparently it's being dragged by them. So that's a thing. And we just keep cutting back between Billy and Jade in the past and in the future. In the future, about to be eaten by zombies, which I kind of want Billy to be eaten by zombies, I'm not gonna lie. Because she's just being horrible. So, then we cut to episode 8, which is Revelations, another reference to Resident Evil. And we get, like, a brief university flashback of Amrita and Jade experimenting on some kind of pulse thing with a little baby crocodile. So, rewatching, I think they're trying to explain what's going on with the alligator, but they can, like, make it wake up and sleep and, like, be active or whatever, I don't know. It's a very weird concept, but I do kind of like the idea that the good guys have, like, a zombie alligator that they're just waiting to sick on someone. It still feels like it could never really work, but, you know, whatever. So, Roth takes the girls back home to pack a bag. I guess they're going to be staying at Umbrella. It's not really made super clear. But he's like, you have 5 minutes, and he follows them inside. And they have a scene where mean Evelyn is, like, gaslighting poor Bert and, like, telling him the girls are in her office eating ice cream. And she shows him what I guess is supposed to be the tyrant, but it kind of looks a bit more like a dude. Still more convincing than a mutated Birkin in Welcome to Raccoon City, though. So, you know, let's take what we can get. Roth takes the girls inside. We're back in the past, if I didn't say that already, it should be obvious. But he's like, he lets them go upstairs alone and is like, you have 5 minutes to pack a bag. And I'm pretty sure they're in their room for like way more than 5 seconds. I say their room, it's not their room, it's one of their rooms. But they spend so much time talking. I'm like, why are you talking? Like, you should be like planning, escaping. And also, like, the whole time, I forgot to mention this, I'm looking at my notes. The whole time I was wishing for like Bert to shank Evelyn, because she's just being so manipulative, but he doesn't realize it. But the girls finally remember the duffel bag exists. I'm pretty sure their 5 minutes are up, but they try to distract him, try to distract Roth with Pablo and be like, look, Pablo, he needs to be taken care of. And while Billy gets the bag, and then they jump out the window, but of course Roth comes out immediately, and the girls run. Billy gets caught, but goes like crazy vampire zombie and starts like attacking. Roth manages to fend her off, but is like telling Jade, go get help. And so Jade goes to Simon, which she knows Evelyn is Simon's mom, so that's a bit of a risk. And again, what is going on with Umbrella? Like, they have tabs on the whole town, but like the minute Jade goes missing, they can't find her. Like, you don't have 20,000 security cameras that can tell you where she is. I'm surprised she didn't have a tracker placed on her, like, right away the minute she arrived by, somebody. But yeah, it's just, it's a bit weird. And then we're back in the future. And when Billy learns that Jade cannot stop whatever she did, she rushes inside. And it appears Evelyn is at least still in there somewhere, and she's like, oh, you can't kill me, you need me, because Billy's willing to let her die. Billy takes some sort of iPad thing, runs out, and starts making drones kill everyone. She punched Jade and kind of left her there, and then she starts having these drones kill everyone, both the zombies and her people. And it's like, if you could do this, why did you wait? And it's kind of crazy that she's killing anyone. She comes across as a complete psycho. I guess it's maybe sort of realistic because just the sheer amount of zombies there are, like, you would expect there to be casualties among the group as well. But she's still slaughtering everybody. And again, like, these people are supposed to be wearing some bulletproof vests. There's also some people working for Umbrella that are trying to drag Jade somewhere. It's not really clear. But they get distracted by zombies. She attacks them and she makes a run for it. And she manages to get on the ship, just barely, thanks to Arjun throwing her a rope. And she is like, go push the button to Sadiq, and they push the button, and the button releases the alligator. the giant zombie alligator that they have. Because, that's a thing. And, yeah. But so after the alligator wakes up, we don't really see anything with that. We jump again back to the present. Or I keep saying the present, the past. And Evelyn and Billy continue to be unlikable, but at least they're being unlikable towards each other. And Billy basically agrees to see if she's infected or not, because she has noticed she still has symptoms, and she did kind of try to bite Roth, because they know she's been bitten now. Simon goes inside after talking with Jade and thinking her story's ridiculous. He kind of starts thinking about Joy after Jade mentions it, and she's like, he remembers the pills he found, and he goes inside, and his mom has cut her hand and is like not even panicked or aware of it, and she's just like acting like there's no big deal, won't even let the cut get treated. Simon calls his mother, demands answers, does not buy any of her lies, and basically learns that indeed Evelyn has been drugging her wife, because her wife, the smart one, got tired of Evelyn always working all the time and wanted to take Simon and leave, which, I wish only good things for Diana. She seems like a good person. And yeah, so they try to, they're like experimenting on Billy. She's not restrained or sedated at all. And let's see here. Okay, so we cut back to the ship. The ship is fleeing. The alligator has been unleashed. And they're like, oh, thank goodness we're safe now. And the alligator is pretty cool. I'll give them that. Like, the alligator just shows up and starts chasing Billy and I guess the survivors, not really survivors, but Arjun and Jade are just so happy they're safe, and it's like that kid has totally left the ship, hasn't she? And yep, 2 seconds later they realize she's missing, and we show her on the mainland with the boat. Did she even attempt to get her father to leave the ship with her? And she's so casual about it. She's not even afraid. I mean, maybe she grew up on the ship, so she doesn't know how to be afraid of it, but she's just like, yeah, I'm out. And then we go to Simon and Jade breaking into Umbrella, because again, place has no security, and a teenager can hack it like it is nothing. Seriously, oh yeah, that is the alligator I drew right there. It's a very stick figure-y alligator. But yeah, we got teens breaking into Umbrella. And so the dude that was experimenting on Billy, testing Billy, was apparently trying to inject her with adrenaline. I don't know why. Like, she clearly doesn't want him to, and she resists as though she's restrained, but she's not restrained. And when he injects her with the adrenaline, she goes crazy, like stabs the dude in the eye. I'm not sure if he's supposed to still be alive or not. Like, I think he's still alive, but I don't know how. And then she attacks Evelyn. It's extremely satisfying, but you know Evelyn's not dead. And apparently, getting bit by a zombie dog infected with joy traps you in, like, Silent Hill, because she's, like, hallucinating, and there's sirens and red, and she thankfully runs into Billy, into Bert, who helps her calm down, and continues to be wonderful, wholesome, and smart, and kind of convinces her that, you know, her dad was trying his best. And it's like, this man is the best character, I gotta say. But yeah, she basically agrees. Like, they all run into Wesker, Billy's group, Jade's group. They're aware that Umbrella knows Billy got bit. So the group tries to make their escape together. We cut back to the alligator being a badass and just taking everything that is thrown at it. It takes a grenade to make it go back in the water, but I'd still argue it is tougher than Resident Evil 3 Remake's Nemesis. But because the alligator is back in the water, it causes the boat that Arjun and Jade have gone on to look for their daughter to just, like, get attacked, and they somehow survive and make it to the shore. But we cut back to the past, and sorry if there is a weird cut there. I don't know how I'm gonna sync these two together. So, like I said this before, that my camcorder's battery has been acting super weird, and it, like, will keep going down even when it is charged, but as long as it's plugged into the charger, it will not stop. So I thought I had it plugged into the charger this whole time, and I actually did not. Like, the thing was just loose, so it wasn't in. So I'm gonna have to deal with the annoying process of trying to link these two files together, which I hate having to do that, because these files end up big in size and length, and, you know, I don't have access to my normal programs. So let's speed this along. The girl's father has them hide in a creepy room with a teddy bear. Simon and Jade manage to open an escape route, but Billy is, like, freaking out, and she ends up biting Simon. And for some reason at this point they stop trying to escape, and Simon crying out alerts the group, Evelyn, Roth, and random Umbrella soldiers, to the teens. And when everyone realizes Simon has been bit, Wesker's like, I can help him, you know, just let my girls go. And Evelyn just shoots him. Like, it's such a weird scene, because despite the fight they had earlier, it seems like they're trying to make us believe that she cared for him, but there was no reason to kill him. Like, realistically, Wesker could potentially save him, and she just murders him. And then she acts like she's super broken up about it, and Bert and Wesker manage to take out the guards, and I don't think Roth is killed, but they managed to, like, get him away. But no one shoots Evelyn. Like, I would have shot Evelyn, because Evelyn's a psychopath, you know? And she's a threat, and since she probably blames Billy for biting Simon, like, you know, maybe kill her. Simon deserved better. Like, I think he was a decent guy in the end. He did not deserve to go through that. The group runs away while I guess Evelyn is just standing there despite the fact she has a gun. Arjun and Jade wake up. Arjun is injured, so Jade goes alone to look for B. And Billy manages to get on a helicopter and flee. And apparently they decide they have to take out the alligator. I don't know why. But the alligator happens across B, chases her, B trips, and then there's a surprisingly wholesome scene where the alligator does not attack B and just kind of stares at her and then like lies down next to her and she reaches out to it. It's very sweet. That's what the drawing is. That's B right there. It's a very cute scene. But unfortunately, the helicopter Billy was in like shoots the alligator with something 3 times and kills it. It's more sad than you'd think. This is the first time a giant alligator has been likable in a Resident Evil story. Jade finds her daughter. Billy shows up with more soldiers than you would expect her to have, given everything that happened. And again, Billy continues to be an unlikable, horrible person. And she refuses to leave the Gator Whisperer alone, even when, like, Jade tells her, you can just take me. And they have this weird line of dialogue where Billy is, like, calling her out on it. It's selfish, it's always the Jade show. And, like, I know there's supposed to be stuff between them we don't know about, but it just comes across as really weird. Because right now we're just seeing Billy being a nasty, horrible person. And she ends up shooting Jade in the side. Does not flat out kill her, but leaves her to die, and then abducts B. Which, you know, sucks. And it's like, you should have just shot her. Like, she's never gonna stop coming after your daughter. I mean, it probably would have gotten them all killed, but... So... The group tries to escape, in the past, tries to escape the Umbrella facility, but it's clear they're not gonna make it, so... Wesker decides to stay behind, which I think is kind of stupid, because, like, it's clear at this point to all of them that something is wrong with Billy. She needs help, and he would probably be able to give her that help. But he stays behind. He gives them a paper and is like, hey, find her. And Evelyn shoots Wesker, but he blows up the Umbrella facility. It's on fire. And, like, there's all these, like, ambulances and whatever rushing towards it. But we know Evelyn at least survives, so. We're also at some point showing that freaking tyrant escaping. I don't remember when that happens. It's too short a scene. And we see, like, Billy and Jade agreeing to stick together. But it's kind of clear Jade is not okay. Probably because of what happened to Simon and her dad. And future Jade is all getting up, intending to go after Billy. And as the girls are driven away by Bert, who is still awesome and supportive, we see them sleeping, and the paper that Wesker gave them is revealed to have Ada Wong written on it. So I plan to do an overall review of this series separate from this. I don't think these were terrible episodes on their own necessarily. They made Billy and Evelyn a lot more unlikable, though. I think the big problem is that we're not getting a season 2, so these questions will never be answered, and I really hate that it ends with Bee getting captured because I'm so worried about her, because I hate the thought of this poor kid being captured by the bad guys. Like, I felt the same way when Jade and Billy got taken. So, yeah, like, there were good points, there were bad points. I wish we would get some closure. We're probably not going to get closure. Bert is awesome. I didn't dislike this version of Wesker either. Not the real Wesker, but the dad Wesker. He feels like he's the only one that does not have a different name. I think his name is supposed to be Al, but... Anyway, I gotta end this recap here so I can try and stitch these 2 videos together. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave a comment, and I will see you next time. Bye!